Alrighty guys, so before you begin this video, I want to go ahead and clarify something. I went into this video with a different mindset that I had when I ended it. So my original plan was to drive this thing, and throughout the video I would say, we'll get ready to drive it. Something came up, but it's kind of a good thing that came up because I can make the cart even better than it already is. It'll all make sense as you watch the video, and I explained some stuff on why I changed like the topic of the video. In the outro, I kind of explained a little bit. I figured I'd just let you guys know that, but anyway, enjoy the video. Hey guys, Mix here, and in today's video we are back with the Half Scout NasKar, and in today's video I would like to try and accomplish attempt number 2 and hopefully the final attempt of trying to test drive this thing and you know, really make the NasKar move under its own power with the new engine out of a 1980 Honda CB750C for the first time ever, and the first time this engine has been put in gear and like actually like served a purpose and moved for the first time in 20 years. So if some of you guys didn't see the first attempt, it was pretty much a nightmare. It was just running awful. It was revving up really high, like almost to redline, and kind of got that problem all dialed in, I believe. I adjusted the throttle cable because I know a lot of you guys saw this, so I'm not going to really go ahead and explain a lot, but basically the throttle cable was too tensioned and it was pulling up on the throttle even when it was at its lowest point. So we adjusted that a couple videos back, and that is all good to go. And then off camera, I went ahead and wired up the fuel pump and everything with the switch. So if I just flip this right here, the fuel pump will in fact work. And I just did it off camera because it literally took me like 2 minutes just to wire it up. But after I did that, I went ahead and tried to run it with just a fuel pump, no fuel pressure regulator, and it was running really good. Like, it was actually idling. I was able to like rev it. It was running pretty like normally, like how a normal engine should, until all the fuel literally exploded out of the carbs. So that shows us that we need a fuel pressure regulator. And what came in the mail, which I think I forgot, it's not on my desk, but the new fuel pressure regulator came in the mail, so we could go ahead and install that, and then we should be able to retry driving this thing. So we're gonna go grab it real quick, and then we'll unbag it and see how it works. Got it. So this regulator is extremely low pressure. It's the lowest pressure one I could possibly find. It's a Holley one too, which is pretty nice. Well, it's quick fuel, but Holley sells it, and it's supposed to be able to do like, yeah, 1 to 4 psi, which is extremely low and perfect for the carburetors. Oh man, I just remembered I'm gonna have to get fittings for this too. It's super lightweight, which I like, and it also came with a mounting plate too, already pre-made and bent and drilled, instructions and hardware. So definitely best bang for your buck right here. So there's basically how it functions. So I'm probably going to block off one of the ends because I don't need 2 to go to the carb, because the carb only has 1 inlet. Or if needed, which I don't think so because it could go down to 1 psi, I can not block off one of the ends and then just run it back to the fuel tank just as a like return line. So unfortunately, I totally forgot to get those little fittings that I need. I forgot the name of them, but basically they could just thread into here, and they have you know, like the little nipple type thing that I can put the hose onto. So I'm just gonna bring this to the hardware store, see what threads into it, and then we will be back and begin installing it. So guys, we are back in the shop, and I just got the barb fittings that I needed, and I couldn't find any type of like cap that can thread into this so I can close off one of the exits for the fuel. So I just got a bolt that can thread into it, and hopefully that can keep it sealed enough for it to not leak out. If not, then I could probably put like a thread locker or something on there. So we could get started on installing this. My only worry is that if I don't have enough fuel line, and also it is the next day from the intro. I thought I had enough time yesterday to, you know, go to the hardware store, but I only had enough time to get the intro done. Earlier today I went to the hardware store, and that is why I'm wearing a different shirt, just in case some of you guys noticed. But I think I should have enough fuel line to incorporate the fuel pressure regulator without an issue. So without further ado, let's get started on installing this. So the fuel pump is connected to the regulator and the regulator is connected to the carbs, and I'm not going to mount it up right now just because I want to test it, make sure it's not going to leak, and see exactly how it regulates. So I'm going to come over here, turn on the fuel. Okay, fuel is on. So now we're just going to kick on this fuel pump and see you know, how the fuel rate slows down. Alright, so right now nothing just went through that hose at all, but it's probably because, yep, no gas. Probably would help if there was some. Okay, that should be enough just to test it. So now if we try this again, oh yeah, fuel's definitely flowing better. Oh yeah, okay. That definitely does look like it's flowing a lot. So I'm gonna turn this little adjusting knob up here counterclockwise, and that'll bring down the PSI even lower. Still looks like it's flowing a lot. So I'm gonna try and loosen this as much as I can, and if it still doesn't fix that, then I think I might have a solution on why it might be flowing out so much. No, still looks pretty much the same. So my hypothesis on why this might be happening is because I blocked off one of the ends with that bolt, and maybe I just need to get the other bar fitting and just run a return to the gas tank, like I said earlier in the video. So, not a huge biggie. So what I'm going to do is go back to the hardware store, get another bar fitting, just make a return just for now, just to see if it lowers down the rate of flow.
Eventually.
So I just got back from the hardware store once again and got another fitting. So let's go ahead and put that on, and hopefully it slows it down. Alright, so new bar fitting is in, and I just ran a whole ton of hoses all together into the gas tank just to test it for right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and re-back out a little adjusting screw, you know, out to where it was. And then I'll flip the switch and see if hopefully that helps. Holy cow. Just start pouring. Okay, it definitely looks slower, that's for sure. The fuel that didn't go in here actually went back and into the return. And this line is empty right now. That's actually perfect. So that worked actually way better than I thought it would. So right now I just want to try and fire it up and see how it runs and everything. I'm going to worry about, you know, final mounts and everything once I just really make sure that it'll run with the new regulator on there. And I'll finalize the return and make everything way nicer once this is done. As you guys can see, the return is working, which is awesome.
Two hours later.
Well, the regulator's working perfect, but without a doubt, the reason why this thing isn't firing up is because of the carbs. And as you guys know, if you guys have been watching this series, these carbs have just like not cooperated at all with us throughout this whole thing. I thought that they would work because it was running for, I've had this thing running for a good bit of time with these carbs, but as you guys saw, every time I put starter fluid in it, it would fire up and it would like run pretty strong, but then once it was out, it was out. The carbs are not feeding it fuel at all. But all that time while that fuel pump was on, the carbs did not leak at all. I had the paper towel under there just in case it did, because before when it wasn't on there, they started to leak, but that whole return system was working great. But what I think I might do is look online for some carburetors, and it's been a little while since I've looked, but I used to look a lot, and I really couldn't find any, and the ones that were on there were expensive. But I'm going to try this again, and hopefully we could come across a good deal and find some that are in at least some okay shape. So guys, I just got done messing with the NasKart. I'll explain to you in a little bit, but I had to grab the camera. So I was just looking online for some carburetors, and I was going to do the dual carburetor setup and everything like that. It's definitely cheaper. I mean, carburetors like these were going for like $600-700. I'm like, yeah, right. And I was going to do the dual carburetor system, and I actually already ordered them, so I got to go cancel them quick. Well, actually, I still could use them, but I don't know. But I came back out here because I was kind of still wanting to see if these would work, and I got them to work all right. So I turned on the fuel pump, absolutely no leaks whatsoever, and I tried shutting the chokes on both of them, and it fired up quick, but then it turned off right away, and I came back here and saw that the chokes flew open when it started up. So what I did is I locked down the chokes and everything from starting, made my own vice grip with that one right there, and I went to fire it up, and I only have phone footage because I wasn't out here with the camera. I was just tinkering around, and well, this is what happened. Woo! Forgot to put on the fuel pump. So as you guys saw, this thing was running and running great, but the only thing it needs really, in order to really be able to run without any leakage or anything like that, is just a new valve cover, because that one slid out. I could probably just loosen those up and tuck it back in, but it leaked out down there, as you guys can see. So I gotta top off the oil and everything like that, make sure it's all good to go. And I tried putting on the air box, but for whatever reason I cannot get it to fit. It should fit, same carburetor, same everything, and it should fit better than how it did in the motorcycle. I mean, tons more space right here. But it's hitting into this, and I can't move this out of the way without keeping the chokes open, so I don't know what's up with that. But I'm going to try and mess around with that so I can get on the air box and see if that'll help, and let it run with the chokes open. But I mean, as it was just before, honestly, it was perfect. It wasn't smoking out of the exhaust. It was smoking, but that was just oil and stuff that was on the exhaust from like my fingers and everything like that. Everything burning off, because that's the longest it's ever ran in 20 years, so definitely going to burn some stuff off. But I'm just so pumped right now. I'm going to try and get that air box to fit, and I guess we could try it again. Real quick, I just loosened up all of the bolts on the valve cover just so it was up, and I pushed back in the little gasket over there, so hopefully that, you know, prevents all that leaking and everything it was doing before. But for whatever reason, I think that the air box had like boots going in each hole, because they don't even line up. So there's definitely was like a rubber boot that connected the air box to the carburetors, and for whatever reason, I have every part of that motorcycle left besides those. I mean, I'm not even sure if there were any. Yeah, no, those aren't them. There's got to be like some type of boot, even to keep the seal. Like, there's no way that they just go on like plastic to just metal carburetor just like that. But what I'm going to do right now is run to AutoZone, pick up some oil for this thing, top it off, and then I can show you guys how this thing is running. Alright, so I just got back from AutoZone, and I got 2 quarts of oil. I should only need like 1 or like half a quart, but it was definitely low, so definitely don't want to lock up this engine. After rebuilding it, I would honestly just cry. But once we're done with this, then we will fire this baby right back up. So I noticed it started to run a little bit weird. It was still running pretty good, but a little bit weird, like midway through there. And that's because I just closed it, but I'm sure you guys saw. But this was opened, so definitely got to make sure that that stays closed, because if we have them running off and everything like that, that could cause a big problem. But over here, I did not see any oil leaking out at all, so that is all fixed and good to go. But tomorrow could be the day where we first drive this thing. So I'm probably just going to do a couple things off camera, just because I know you guys want to see this thing just drive already. And I know I do too. And once again, this is just going to be a test drive, not a full drive. Just want to make that clear. Everything's going to be so much nicer. There's still so much more stuff we got to do. And I have the whole cooling thing under control, and I don't think this engine's going to overheat, cause a problem with just the chokes closed. I mean, I've seen a ton of people run air-cooled engines with chokes closed on like hours and hours on end. So I think if we just go a couple laps around the yard just to make sure everything's good, we should be completely fine. And plus, all of this is going to be open. I'm not going to be putting on the body yet, obviously, because I still got to add the NACA ducts for cooling. Make sure everything clearances, you know, probably modify the body a little bit. So it should have sufficient enough cooling with all of that open to not cause any issues at all. But anyway, guys, I will see you all tomorrow when hopefully we take this thing out. So guys, I've been messing around with this for a little bit, and I got this thing to idle. I'm gonna show you guys, it is running amazing. I might honestly just keep these carburetors. Doing the dual carburetor setup can't hurt, but I mean, it's just running amazing. I'll show you guys right now. Just like that. Doesn't even need the gas anymore. It's just idling perfect. Check that out. Idles perfect. I didn't even need the gas to start it up. The whole fuel system's working amazing. And also all the chains and everything is off right now. You guys will see that in next video, but one of the key things was just get this thing running right so it's drivable and it's not bogging down or anything. And I'll even rev it up. I'll show you guys. And then boom, turns right off. So I am definitely so happy how it's running. I mean, just running it over and over again. The carbs just started working, and obviously they're not fully perfect just because of that air box, and I got to keep the chokes closed. But I'm going to look into purchasing those boots that I was talking about earlier in the video to connect the carbs to the air box, and that'll definitely help out a lot with it running with the chokes open. And once again, I just apologize for not having it driving in this video. I'm not going to rush this build anymore. As I'm doing this, I'm learning, because there's parts out there that I didn't even know existed, and they would have helped me 1,000 times more than trying to make my own version of that part that's already exists. So I'm learning every step of the way. Every mistake I make, I learn from it. But next video with this thing, we're going to be adding on the driver mod things that are going to just make it drive so much better. I'm going to be working on looking for a way to get that clutch to work as well. But the thing I'm ordering has something to do with all of that. It'll all make sense in the next video, I promise. But anyway, I'm going to be ending off the video here. Follow my social medias. They will be in the outro of this video. Instagram, Snapchat, I use the most. And also, I would have went ahead and, like, drove this in this video. But one, I need to order the part and wait for it to get here, which takes time. And two, this is my last day summer. I start school tomorrow, which is kind of a bummer, so I don't have as many hours in the day to work. But I gotta do what I gotta do, so definitely just stay tuned, because once that part comes in, this thing should be able to drive. And I'm saying that with a ton of hope and like dignity, if that even makes sense. That I know I said that a lot, but I truly think that this will make it run for sure. Well, this will make it drive for sure. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and tell your friends about the channel.